I can't believe it's already May 2025 because some things were announced a few months ago and it felt like, wow, that was a long way off. Well, it's here and it's shaping up to be an incredibly exciting month if you are a fan of Status Quo. Later on, there is an 8-disc expanded edition of Quo Live coming, released on Demon Records. And tomorrow, there is another release on the way very soon, The Way We Were Volume 1 by Francis Rossi, which, if you're unaware, is a collection of demos recorded within the last 25 years, all the songs written by Francis Rossi and Bob Young. Many of them would go on to be Quo album tracks and singles, and some of them were included in finished form on Francis Rossi's 2010 album, One Step at a Time, and there was a handful in the track listing which have never been released in any way whatsoever before, one of which was a track called Scary Mary, which was released as a teaser for this collection, and I've already given my reaction to this track, which I absolutely loved. It was just great to hear something, in inverted commas, new from Francis Rossi. I thought maybe the track had been recorded some time ago. I now believe perhaps it was a little bit more recent than my initial guesswork. And that is partly down to the release of the second teaser track, Money Don't Matter, which, unlike Scary Mary, was later recorded by Status Quo. Firstly, it was included on their UK edition of the 2002 album Heavy Traffic, and last year on a subsidiary of Cherry Red Records, it was on the compilation Driving to Glory because of its exclusivity to that original UK edition. Now, I absolutely love Money Don't Matter because it takes me back to a time of such positivity in my life. A lot of things were changing for me. And also there was a lot of positivity in the Quo camp as well, because Matt Letley joined. They had a lot of positive outlook around the album. It was seen as something of a return to form. There was the top 20 single, Jam Side Down, as well, and an appearance on Top of the Pops. You know, this was a real high time for a band of Quo's vintage. Incredibly exciting for me. And so this demo, to hear this track, Money Don't Matter, which is so incredibly catchy, especially when it gets into that chorus. You're sort of unsure at first, and it gets into that chorus, and wham, you're there, and you're singing along. And I sometimes, when this came out, would just burst into that chorus out of absolute nowhere because it was just such a really catchy thing. So the demo of Money Don't Matter, I think, was probably recorded somewhere between sort of 2000 and 2002. The songwriting credit plus its inclusion on the album released in that latter year would give that idea. Now, obviously, I haven't seen any other documentation, anything else. That's purely a guess at this point, something I might update later. And unlike Scary Mary, this track has already been heard. We know this track. It's been around for, as I say, 23 years. And so you can't help but listen and hear the differences and like compare and contrast. And for me, it's just a delight to hear the initial thoughts of this track, like as it was being laid down and brought into existence as well. And the first thing that kind of stuck out to me was that different intro. There's sort of a soft intro before you get into that main riff that is all over the finished track, as well as this demo. They obviously felt that maybe it didn't need that extra long sort of soft intro at the beginning. It sort of reminded me of some of the stuff that Rick Parfitt has done, in intros, sort of hold you back type things. And yeah, they did a few things like that. One thing that jumps to mind is You Let Me Down. The intro for that is kind of very similar, but the thing with You Let Me Down is it's very melancholy. That kind of softness matches that, whereas with this, they obviously felt like, well, it's got two intros, let's do the intro that goes straight into the song. It'll work in this case. But it's interesting to hear that here. The other difference, as I've already mentioned, is the drums as well, which are definitely a drum machine. They've got that synthetic sort of bitty quality. But the thing is, it's a demo. It's supposed to give an idea as to what the song is like. And at this point, obviously, the drums aren't the most important thing. It's sort of getting the melody down and the guitar lines and the chords and stuff. And you can hear that. The guitars are quite high in the mix here, along with those vocals, so that you can get all those things. It's very raw, whereas Scary Mary felt, yeah, it's a demo. It's kind of relaxed in a way, but it was a little bit more polished. There was more going on. Here, it feels like Francis, his guitar and a drum machine just working a song out. And I think the key word here is relaxed and quite pure. The thing that's amazing about this track is that the essence is already there. The structure, everything is there, despite the drum machine, the kind of repetitiveness of that. It's already there, ready to be, as they used to say, quoed up later. Now, lastly, something I will say is that the outro is unexpectedly rocky, isn't it? And if the whole band had got hold of that and kind of gone with that rather than using the kind of main intro riff that they ended up using there, if they'd gone for more of that rocky section, we probably would have been looking at sort of a classic Quo type thing. As it is, I really enjoyed that closing section, the sort of crunchiness of those chords at the end, especially in sort of the lower chords there, just really pleasing, and it's the whole demo is just really pleasing to listen to. So tell me, what do you think? I think I'm always going to have a fondness for the full and finished version of Money Don't Matter, because I just associate it with such a positive time, and it's just been in my consciousness for 23 years. And I love the variation, and I love the chorus and like all the harmonies and stuff. But I know that over time, I'm also going to have a fondness for this demo version. Its rawness, its pure essence of that song that I love so much, that has all of the big stuff stripped away, but yet is still as catchy and structurally sound as ever, despite, the setbacks, if you will, for want of a better phrase, of a demo version. And I know that Francis himself has said that he felt that it captured the very essence of the song so well, and it made him reconsider the released version. I mean, he said that when the track was finished and the album had been out for a little while, he came to realize that he liked the full and finished version less. And I quote here, "Sometimes the special effects of the recording studio can take something away from a song or idea's simple origins. You end up losing some of the initial magic." Well, now that initial magic is available on this album, The Way We Were, Volume 1, and it's out on the 2nd of May, or out now, on Ear Music. You can pre-order it or order it on Amazon and other online stores. I will leave an affiliate link in the description below, and what that means for those who aren't aware is that if you order the album from that link, I get a small cut from Amazon's side of things. So it's not taking anything away from the band. It's taking some of Amazon's, like a small percentage, and it helps me to keep the podcast running. So it's supporting the podcast as well as Francis Rossi and Status Quo and everything else. I haven't talked about that before, but part of the thing of being in that affiliate program is that I have to be open and honest about what that link does. So what do you think? Are you looking forward to hearing some demos in their original initial form? What do you think of the song Money Don't Matter? Is it also a favourite of yours? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below.